What's going on, everybody? It's your boy GemMint, and I've got a monster omnibus haul for you guys today. And man, my UPS driver was pissed.
I've been waiting on this day to tell you how much I hate this f***ing house.
Man, hopefully nothing got damaged. We've got some new releases, we've got some pre-releases, so as always, we're going to take a look at each one of these books. We'll talk about the release date, the different covers available, the price, and of course, what they collect. And every time I throw out one of these Encore promos, I try to hit you with a new giveaway, so I do have an extra copy of one of these Omnis, still sealed, courtesy of OrganicPriceBooks.com, that I'm going to announce for a giveaway when we get to the book in the video. In the meantime, download Encore. You can use the link in my description, in the pinned comment, or by using the QR code on screen. Encore is an online selling platform, but it's not live selling. There's no high pressure sales. There's no 5 seconds to bid. It's similar to eBay in the sense that sellers put up an item, but instead of using pictures, they use videos. The videos help describe what the contents are, give you some backstory on it, point out any potential defects, and they're auctions that are anywhere from 1 to 7 days, plus there's buy it nows with best offers. The giveaways work the same as well, so you don't have to be in a live show to enter the giveaway. The giveaways I post up, I put for the maximum 7 days, so you have time to go to Encore, enter into the giveaway for a chance to win 100% free. All of the sellers on Encore are vetted and are required to upload photo ID, plus they have buyer protection just in case you purchase something that doesn't arrive as described. So give them a download, and later on in the video, when we get to the book, I'll let you know which omnibus I'm putting up for giveaway. But we're going to start with the Jeff Loeb Tim Sale. Marvel has been doing a lot of these gallery editions. They've been doing all the different colors like Spider-Man Blue and Daredevil Yellow. But this time they did the Wolverine and Gambit Victims, a series that I just recently read in the Road to Onslaught Omnibus. Let's take a look at it in this larger format. Yeah, so this is collected in the Road to Onslaught Omnibus Volume 1 and in the Wolverine Omnibus Volume 5. So if you're picking this up, it's probably because you're collecting the gallery editions, maybe if it's just the Jeff Loeb Tim Sale or just all those gallery editions in general, or if you just want to read the story and don't have those omnis. It does deserve its own treatment, though. I mean, especially in that omnibus, you can just see Tim Sale's art, Jeff Loeb, great storytelling, and this is old school, man. So Wolverine and Gambit Victims, it was a 4-issue series. This was during the aftermath of the feral Wolverine after Fatal Attractions, when Magneto rips out his adamantium. Here goes the spine, and it's a larger trim if you can't tell. Like, for example, here's an oversized hardcover for that Deadpool Bad, and Badder, or whatever it's called. Retailing $50, and it does have an alternate cover by Tim Sale. Wolverine's the prime suspect. It's like a Jack the Ripper kind of story. I just read it recently. We'll see if I remember when I flip through. But yeah, it kind of like seems like Wolverine may be on this killing spree, and he's more feral, so you can't really tell if he's all there. Is he have it in him to do this? And here's what I'm talking about. Like, just looking at how the art is here with the letters, the tap talk. It kind of reminds me of the McFarlane Spider-Man Doom. But yeah, this double page spread, Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale, the paneling. It was just so unique, and I love the 90s art in that Road 2 omnibus, but the paneling here, the artwork, just on a different level. The story was just okay. It doesn't really show either character at their best as far as like the fighting or anything like that, but it was written well, and the art was good. So if it's your first time, like I said, reading this, if you're collecting these gallery editions, a beautiful one to add to the library. All right, let's see. Has this nice border around, and does it have anything at the end here? Okay, so it looks like you have some Tim Sale covers. Wolverine cover from 1994, X-Men First. Got the trade paperback cover from 96, another trade paperback cover for the 2000 version. This one is the trade paperback cover, but it's also one of the covers, I think, for issue 3 and for the Wolverine Omnibus dust jacket. Excerpts from Tim Sale Black and White by Comic Craft. Look at the art here. So you get some cool bonuses here, even though it's just a gallery edition. Original covers. Cool. All right, next up, we have an oversized hardcover. I don't typically get these in, but I am a sucker for Rob Liefeld's Deadpool, and we've got his Bad and Badder Blood all contained in this single hardcover. All right, guys, so here we go. The Deadpool, Rob Liefeld, Bad Blood and Badder Blood. The OHC, here goes the spine. Retailing $50, collects the 4-issue miniseries Bad Blood and the 5-issue miniseries Badder Blood. Here goes the inside of the dust jacket, giving us an idea of what to expect from these two series, and then a biography on the creators, Rob Liefeld, of course, but also Chad Bowers and Chris Sims. A beautiful wraparound cover on the OHC. I'm a fan of Liefeld's Deadpool. I mean, this era was my era growing up as a kid, the Image era, the X-Force stuff right prior to that. So here's your cover page. Here's all the different credits. Jumping into issue 1 with a virgin cover, we get Deadpool going up against Thumper. So there goes your boy Thumper, pounding Deadpool in the head. So you get a story by Rob Liefeld, and he does all the art, and it brings in fan favorites like Domino, Cable. Here goes Shatterstar, of course, Wolverine, and even Venompool in the Badder Blood series. So here is issue 2. I was flipping through this. I would love to do a sit down and read through of this. I probably will knock a couple of these books out. In this haul, there's a few that I really want to jump into right away. So continuing here, who's that? Kane. Here's Badder Blood. Here goes the same image from the actual hardcover. So it's just like a fun book. I mean, nothing too serious. Here goes the Venompool stuff. But I'm a fan of the characters and the slapstickiness. I'm sure it'll be a fun, quick read. But oversized hardcover for all you Deadpool fans. You get the Uncanny X-Force outfits for Wolverine and Deadpool later on in this series. Spider-Man makes an appearance as well. And let's see, anything else in the back of this? Of course, variant cover gallery. So always nice if you just want the art and didn't want to hunt down the individual variants. Sometimes they can get expensive. Scotty Young. Let's see, who else do we got here? Of course, Liefeld's got some variants. Okay, here's some pencils and inks, some pencils. So a couple pages of bonus material in Bad and Badder Blood. This book came out just in time. I recently just got done reading the original TMNT Mirage era, and here we have the deluxe edition for volume 2. Still in the Mirage era, but a whole new run. Let's take a look at it. So they didn't do this in the same vein as they did with like the hardcover compendiums. The Mirage Years, 1993 to 1995, they kind of more go with the hardcover deluxe editions, which I'm not mad at because I have the IDW run, and then you got the Last Ronin stuff. But cool to see Turtle stuff continue to come out. I hope they still do that Archie era omnibus that was announced and then canceled. So here you go, the cover. Here's the spine. Like I said, goes with the deluxe editions, collecting the entire 13-issue run by Jim Lawson, which is considered volume 2 of TMNT. This book retailed $60. It's got the green ribbon. So I haven't read this yet, but I was flipping through it, and it looks like this is a quick read. It seems very art-heavy, not dialogue-heavy, which is cool because it's old school Turtles, table of contents, introduction. It's in the Mirage era. I love that. It's like the cover art for issue 3, what the variant that was used for the NES cover. Usually I realize what era we're in by the trade dress. Great wraparound cover and amazing art throughout this. I think I'm going to read this and knock out a quick review and add it to my TMNT read-through playlist. I have all 3 hardcover compendiums. They're kind of longer videos because I really read it and go through like every page of the story. But this one I haven't read yet. I am super looking forward to this. It continues directly where the main story left off from the original Mirage Years too. So all that stuff is canon, and this is where we pick up from there. A lot of that stuff in the first volume, there was a lot of filler. So it's cool to see that main story pick up. That was the highlight for the run for me. Here goes Casey. So very cool to see, and it has like a yellowish kind of pages quality to it as well. It's kind of interesting, more so like the original comics. All right, so besides the main story, let's see, what do we get as far as bonus material? Here's issue 10, 12, and then 13 is the last issue. So no bonus material, just the 13 issues, and that's it. All right, and now we're on to the Omnis, and we have a new one. This is Avengers Forever by Jason Aaron. All right, so this one is scheduled to come out on April the 9th. This is the direct market variant by Phil Jimenez. And then you have the standard cover here. Jason Aaron, Javier Guerin, Aaron Cooter, Jim Toe, and Kev Walker. And it has a wraparound dust jacket, and it collects the entire 15 issues of Avengers Forever, plus Avengers Forever Infinity Comic 1 through 4, Avengers Assemble Alpha. Then you have Avengers 63 through 66 from the 2018 volume, and Avengers Assemble Omega. This one retailed $100. Here goes the inside of the dust jacket, as always, where we're at with this story, and a biography on all the creators. We got the wraparound cover here. So this story is Avengers from all different timelines and all different realities. So it's like a multiversal Avengers run, and they're going up against the Supreme Doom. Here goes our credits and the table of contents. Little kind of synopsis of the team members. Remember this version of Venom? Here goes Avengers Forever issue 1. And then you get a variant cover right on the back side of that. So this is more recent material that's being published in omnibus format. The run is from 2021. I remember seeing these on the shelf when I was doing the weekly comic book reviews, but I didn't pick this one up. I think I might have tried that first issue that was led by Ant-Man. I was interested in this version of Venom. I think it was like Venom and Red Skull, if I recall. So very cool to see, the entire run collected. I'm a big Jason Aaron fan. We have more Jason Aaron in this omnibus haul. Here goes Supreme Doom. So a thinner omnibus makes for a quick read, one self-contained story. The only thing is, if you're not a fan of multiverse stuff, this one might not be for you. Just multiple versions of the Avengers. Here goes Iron Man building the suit. In the Infinity War stuff, the Avengers have to go up against a army by Mephisto. Here we got the Jaime Reyes Ghost Rider versus a Green Goblin. All right, looks like we get a variant cover gallery. Nice little homage going on. Russell Dodderman covers. So it looks like we get a good amount of covers here. Got a Peach Momoko, Hidden Gem stuff, Stanley Art Germ. Here's the dust jacket cover, and then we have another wraparound cover. We're variant heavy during these days. The Alex Ross Timeless variants. Some designs and sketches. And an afterword from Jason Aaron himself. Switching gears over to DC, we got a new Batman omnibus. Following up the Tom King run, we have Batman by James Tynion IV. Just one cover for this omnibus, but what a cover it is by Jorge Jimenez. Batman, James Tynion IV. You got Punchline, you got Batman, Joker, Harley Quinn, Golem March, and Tomei Mori contribute to the run as well. Here's the spine, which will stack up nicely with other Batman omnis. And like I said, following the Tom King run, he leaves with Batman 85. This collects 86 through 105, and then I believe Chip Zdarsky picks up. It also collects Batman Annual 5, the Rest in Peace Pennyworth one-shot, the Batman Secret Files Clown Hunter 1. I remember doing a whole video on that issue. You got the Joker 4-issue miniseries, Punchline number 1, and it does have some stories from Batman 85, plus 107 through 111, Secret Files 3, from Batman the Joker Warzone 1, Infinite Frontier 0. So again, just material from these. The Joker 80th Anniversary 100-page super spectacular one, and Joker 14, presented in reading order, featuring a brand new cover and introduction by Batman series artist Jorge Jimenez. So cool. Like to see how they paid attention to the mapping. This one retailed $125. Here goes the inside of the dust jacket. They don't give a synopsis on the story on the inside like how Marvel does. So post the death of Alfred, obviously, what you could see with the title of that one shot. Here we have a biography on the creative team, so they do that. Some nice art here. The zombified Bruce Wayne with the Joker ha-ha-has, lime green on the spine, and then Joker on the back. So not really a wraparound, but it does kind of go together. That's pretty cool. Opening up some nice cover pages. Got the graphics on there. Batman and Catwoman. That was the whole Tom King thing with the marriage and all that. Here goes the credits. This has the Joker War. This has, what is this, Ghostmaker, if that's his name. It's been a while since I read this stuff. So table of contents. You have an introduction. Punchline. So this was the whole Punchline thing. So reading order. Yeah, so this is from the Joker 80th Anniversary 100-page spectacular. I was reading all of this stuff when I was doing the weekly comic book day reviews. So this is fairly new material. What is it? Got to be 2017, and running for a couple of years. I enjoyed it. This was the main title of Batman. I liked the new characters that were introduced. You had, like I said, besides Punchline, you had a Clown Hunter, the whole Joker War thing. So I do like this run, man. I actually jumped on with this run. I did not read Tom King's Batman. I think I just so happened to jump on with this one, and then, like I said, Zdarsky took over after. So great story. It's been a while since I read it to give you a whole story breakdown, but you got a couple of things going on. Oh, this guy, I thought he was going to be more of a bigger deal than he was. I don't want to spoil you, but here we have a Francisco Matina cover. I think he ended up getting into some controversy later on. But great artwork. Jorge Jimenez, one of the GOATs over at DC. Joker's solo series was good as well, although it was more like a Commissioner Gordon solo series featuring the Joker. A lot of material packed here. James Tynion IV, one of my favorite writers, out now as well. Always doing something cool. Here goes the whole Punchline stuff, trying to get her out of jail. She becomes kind of like a martyr. Oh, yeah, the return of, what's his face from, what is it, Wildcats? I never got into Wildcats or Youngbloods, to be honest. Here's the Joker stuff. Yeah, Tynion did that too. That's right, which is why it's in this omnibus. Great negative space variant here, right? So big variant cover gallery here. Gabriel Del Otto stuff. Who's that? I could tell Raf Grassetti a mile away. Raf Grassetti stuff. Tyler Kirkham's. I'm not even going through all of them. There's so many. David Nakayama covers. I'm a big sucker for painters. So cool, man. This book is packed full of content, man. Oh, here goes the Comic Tom exclusive. It says Scorpion Comics exclusive. Maybe Tom shared it with them, or maybe they got it wrong. Tom, what's going on with this, brother? But that's another Raf Grassetti piece, which actually has been made into a trading card for the DC annuals. Here's a nice homage flip, but you get the idea. I think most people already know what they're getting with the James Tynion Batman run. The omnibus has everything you need. Sketches at the end, original art, another biography. That's it. Next up, we got a brand new one from Black Panther. This is the Black Panther omnibus by Reginald Hudlin. Let's jump into it. This one came out earlier this month. This is the standard cover by John Romita Jr. There is a direct market variant done by Alan Davis. Here goes the spine. This is a big boy omnibus. And here we have the back, what it collects. So this is the 2005 Black Panther run that introduces Shuri. It collects the 41 issues plus X-Men 175 and 176, Black Panther Annual 1 from 2008. Then it collects the 6-issue series from 2009, Captain America / Black Panther Flags of Our Fathers, the 4-issue miniseries, and then Black Panther Saga 1, and some material from Black Panther Annual 1 from 2018. This one retailed $150, and if you don't recognize the name from comics, Reginald Hudlin is more known for writing movies. He wrote House Party, Boomerang with Eddie Murphy, Bebe's Kids. I love Bebe's Kids. It also contains work by Dennis Cohen, Scott Eaton, and of course John Romita Jr. So in the inside of the dust jacket, giving us the biographies and where we're at with this story, which I actually have not read. You got a dope wraparound cover, some paneling with Black Panther featuring Storm and The Thing. But being that it's introducing Shuri, I kind of know where we're at with like the key issues and all that stuff, but I have not read the material on this. Cool to get it all contained in this one volume. And I do like when you have the Hollywood writers taking on these comic book characters. Black Panther seems to attract that a lot. So it doesn't have a table of contents because it just goes all the way through. So here's issue 1. You jump right into it. You could tell the John Romita Jr. artwork. Nice covers. We get the variant covers. I really dug the Black Panther by Christopher Priest. I think it's going to be really hard for me to read anything Black Panther related and not compare it to that. That to me was just the best writing. And I did dig the 90s artwork, especially the Mark Texeira stuff. But the fact that this is like the Shuri run, that did make this a little bit more intriguing for me. Seeing a lot of cameos with Storm. I always loved that romance. Such a shame we weren't able to see it play out on screen with Chadwick Boseman. You got some Blade action going on here. So yeah, you're getting a big Omni full of material, a lot of issues collected here, a lot of characters that we ended up seeing in the movies. So borrowing some inspiration. Can't have Black Panther without some Namor stuff. This focuses on T'Challa's younger years, so that's why we get introduced to Shuri here. We're seeing a younger version of the Black Panther. This coincides with the House of M. So when you saw Blade, he'll also team up with Luke Cage. If you guys remember from that storyline, they go off and do their own thing. So also kind of placing you in that era. Marvel Zombies, a little cameo here. So yeah, man, a ton of material here. Can't believe 2005. This was already 20 years old. Scrolls. So to kind of place the era that we're in. All right, and then let's see what we got collected as far as bonuses. Well, here's the Black Panther saga. So the material collected is just this timeline of the Black Panther, FF52, subsequent teams that he was with, Storm. So that's pretty cool to get. And then we have some variant covers, Assad Ribic, which is the artist who worked on the front cover with John Romita Jr. All right, second printing variant, some Frank Cho stuff. Wow, that's great right there. Who is that? Ken Lashley. All right, so 20th anniversary. Marko Djadjevic. Who is this? Oh, that's a great cover too. Mitch Breitweiser. So here's some material from the annual. They put that at the back. I guess it's more encyclopedia type stuff. Yeah, so the Marvel Zombies showing the homage covers. I love those Marvel Zombies covers. It made me want to collect all those variants. So you got your original art, sketches and inks. Welcome to the jungle. Oh, here goes the Priest run. I could see that a mile away. Yeah, Priest run was great, man. Let me know if you guys read this one. What are your thoughts on it? I got a big backlog. Oh, look at this. So February 2009. Corporate wants you to tell the difference between these two pictures. Oh, very cool. So yeah, this was a whole who's the new Black Panther thing. That's what that was all about. Sue Storm as the new Black Panther is crazy. And that's it, yo. Jumping out of Strange Tales and into his own title, we have a new one from Doctor Strange. This is Doctor Strange, Master of the Mystic Arts, Volume 1. All right, so I just wanted to bust out the Silver Age Omnis first. So you have Doctor Strange Volumes 1 and 2, but like I alluded to in the beginning here, this collects, Strange Tales 110 through 111, then 114 through 146, and then you have Strange Tales continuing with 147 through 168, then Doctor Strange 169 through 183. So he gets his own title, but it just continues from Strange Tales, plus Avengers 61, all those other ones. But then we have the Master of the Mystic Arts. So it's a new volume starting with issue 1 of Doctor Strange. This one came out the same week that Black Panther came out, and this is the direct market variant by Frank Brunner. There is a standard cover, which is this cover from Marvel Treasury Edition issue 6. Here we have our spine, and like I said, this is volume 1, so theoretically there's going to be more to come. Collecting Marvel Premiere 3 through 14, which is leading up to this run. Then Doctor Strange 1 through 22 with Annual 1, and Tomb of Dracula 44, retailing $100. The Eye of Agamotto in the inside of the dust jacket, giving us a biography on creators Steve Englehart, Frank Brunner, and Gene Colan, and where we're at with Doctor Strange for this run. Older material doesn't get a fancy wraparound cover, so we just have the trade dress here, same image as the spine, and then again, the Eye of Agamotto on the back. All right, let's flip open and take a look here. So old style omnibus here. You get a nice splash page. Wow, beautiful page right here. We get some of our credits. Continuing here, table of contents, Doc Strange. Roy Thomas with an introduction from 2009. And then jumping into that Marvel Premiere 3. Love this splash page by Barry Windsor Smith. So yeah, look at that. This looks great. The Marvel Premiere stuff was the reintroduction of Doctor Strange after his solo series was canceled, unfortunately. So he had a couple stories through here in Marvel Premiere, and then, like I said, he would finally get his own series once again with his first ever Doctor Strange issue 1. You get kind of these one-off stories, Strange fighting monsters. You do get the male section, which is cool. Marvel Premiere 6, again, just fighting these beasts. Very psychedelic, very dramatic, too, with the rain and the shadowing, just the way that Strange looks. All right, then here we go with issue 1. So this also wraps up a Shuma Gorath story, who I always know, like most 90s kids, from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So this is where we have Steve Englehart with Frank Brunner. Man, the paneling looks great here as well. This stuff looks cool. I have never read this. I did read that first volume with Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and I think that was Ditko at his best, man. Way better than the Spider-Man stuff. This is psychedelic. Look, check out Dormammu. I really would like to check this out, and I really want to read that 90s run also. So it looks like we get a Steve Englehart kind of forward before we jump into the next arc. Issue 10, Master of the Mystic Arts. Equipped with the old school comments section. It's funny to see how much collectors or comic book readers are really the same after so many decades. The stuff that we complain about and everything. So there's a couple of reprint covers before we get into issue 21. And then we have the mail, of course, and the original art, the old school original pencils and inks. Dang, that's dope. Fantasy art at its best. So you had an altered cover and an unaltered. So I guess you had her in the throne at first. Then you have her getting up. What else is different here? Some more interior pages and covers. House ads, always cool to see, the old school stuff. Damn, that's a great cover. I think I saw this as a t-shirt, actually. A lot of original art here in the back. That's cool. Here we got the Treasury Edition 6. Original art for it, which is the standard cover for this. Dormammu, the back of that Treasury Edition. Dang, that's great. I never really got into Doctor Strange like that. But nice wraparound cover here for the special edition. Again with the Eye of Agamotto. I love how we've been getting all the Ultimate stuff, all the 2099 stuff. Finally, we've got the Ultimate Fantastic Four Volume 1. Ultimate FF Volume 1 came out last week. This is the standard cover. And then you had the direct market variant by Jay Lee. Even though I love Jay Lee's art, I don't know, with those borders, I kind of like this one better. Here goes the spine, Volume 1, which we're going to need a Volume 2, and I'll talk about that. Collecting issues 1 through 32 plus annual 1, retailing $100, virgin covers of all the issues collected. And as you can see, it kind of looks like the Ultimate Spider-Man covers for the first 7 issues or so. So Ultimate FF, written by Brian Michael Bendis. Mark Miller also worked on this. So you have the creator from Ultimate Spider-Man and the Ultimates, but you got Mike Carey, Warren Ellis, Mitch Breitweiser, Stuart Immonen, Adam Kubert, Greg Land, and Jim Lee. So great artists there as well. And a biography on the futuristic, fresh take of the Fantastic Four. Here we got the wraparound cover, and you can see it's kind of a youthful FF. And this is the same thing as, you know, Ultimate Spider-Man. This was a reboot, a new refreshing take, a modern twist on the Fantastic Four. Here goes all the credits, which also acts like the table of contents. We get the virgin covers here leading into the issues. So when I teased a picture of this, a lot of people kind of clowned on Ultimate FF, but I remember reading this, it must have been about 10 years ago now. After reading Ultimate Spider-Man, which I really dug, I wanted to read the rest of the Ultimate Universe. So I read Ultimate X-Men and I read Ultimate Fantastic Four. And who doesn't like a updated modern take on these classic characters? I would actually recommend it for somebody who's never read Fantastic Four, because you're getting that origin, but look, it's with a newer, more modern twist, modern dialogue and artwork. Adam Kubert, Jay Lee, then writers like Bendis, Miller, and Warren Ellis. They find the end zone, which is this version of the negative zone. But more importantly, I guess it doesn't happen in this volume. It's the introduction of the Maker, the evil Reed Richards from another dimension. It also introduces Marvel Zombies, but again, I think that's later on in the run. You get Victor Van Dam as Dr. Doom. So, yeah, man, I think this was a good run. I don't know why people clown on it. I'm a sucker for those kind of Elseworld universes. Like I said, you know, give us all the Ultimate Omnis, give us all the 2099 Omnis, which, by the way, they got the Doom Fantastic Four 2099 on the way as well. But you get the virgin covers prior to the issues. Reed and Ben. Here goes the End Zone. Not to be confused with the End Zone. You get it? Yeah, this is definitely Greg Land. You can see his realism, and he always takes the inspiration from like the magazine and photo realism. So Ultimate FF, let's see, what else do they give us besides the issues? You know, we got to have some bonus materials. So here we have the last issue. Don't want to give any spoilers. It's a Doom issue. So here's Marvel Zombies. So is Marvel Zombies collected here? Yeah. Oh yeah, they send Doom to the Marvel Zombies universe. That's right. Yeah. So maybe I don't know. Does Reed not become the maker here? He goes Arthur Sudan Marvel Zombies variant. Yeah, this is where all that stuff started. Yeah, this ends with the Marvel Zombies because this is issue 31 and 32. In 30, yeah, that's right. So the end of this omnibus gets us the Marvel Zombie stuff. Here goes a interview with Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Miller. So you get some bonuses here. Oh, this is a script. I never really read the scripts, to be honest. You have some character designs. Those modern takes. Kind of cool with a little graphic design, too. Oh, Robert Kirkman, yeah, because he's the one who does Marvel Zombies. So he gives a little afterword. Here's some art. Yeah, at first, Marvel Zombies, it was all homages. And then a Wizard 146 cover. All right, next up, we got a couple of DC Omnis. We're going to start with the DC event Forever Evil. Jeff Johns, David Finch, beautiful art. Let's take a look at it. The Forever Evil Omnibus came out last month, so still fairly new. But like I said, Jeff Johns and David Finch, two of the greats, big Forever Evil spine, new retro logo for DC with the kind of a wraparound cover, right? So this was the New 52's big multi-universe-wide crossover. It collected the 7-issue main series. It has Forever Evil Aftermath, Batman vs. Bane 1. It has the director's cut, Argus 1 through 6. It has Arkham War 1 through 6, Rogue's Rebellion 1 through 6, Justice League 24 through 29, Justice League of America 8 through 14, Nightwing 30, Suicide Squad 24 through 30, and pages from Justice League 23. It was a $150 Omni. Here's a better look at the wraparound cover on the dust jacket. So you have the Crime Syndicate verse, like the bad Justice League, Bizarro and Sinestro and Black Adam, Lex Luthor. Nothing on the inside of the dust jacket, just some art. And for the art on the actual hardcover, you have the Jim Lee. I want to say this was from the Justice League, the New 52 run. And then you have the spine, but then the Crime Syndicate homage on the other side. Actually, yeah, let's do it so you can see. So it's like a mirrored image homage type of thing. All right, let's take a look at it. Got some black cover pages. The DC books are very stiff, you guys. Like, I feel like I'm gonna break it just holding it out like this. Here's the cover page. So we got Ivan Reyes, Joe Pardo, and Toimu Mori as the collection cover artist. Here we have the credits and the table of contents. And it just jumps right into the prelude. Previously in Justice League. Wait a minute, wrong series. Here's the Crime Syndicate. Yeah, so this was a big crossover event. I remember Forever Evil because at this time I had just started going back into the LCSs and I was collecting all those New 52 lenticular covers, and I'll never forget that Forever Evil had one. Check out this big poster here. So all of the Justice League is incapacitated, so you have like the DC Universe reserves that have to step in and fight this multiversal threat with the Crime Syndicate. That's basically the gist of it. I haven't read the material yet, but I thought it was cool to get a big DC event omnibus like this. It's kind of like in Marvel style. So here's Lex Luthor, Bizarro suiting up. Prior to each issue, you get the Virgin cover with the colorized version and then black and white. I never really hear people talk much about this event. I mean, when you hear New 52, you typically just hear about the Batman run. But I thought this omnibus looked really great. I mean, I'm a big David Finch fan. Jeff Johns, one of my favorite writers out there right now. I think I've said that a few times throughout this video. But, I mean, these are the creme de la creme of comic book creators. So in typical event fashion, you get everything. You get the main story, you get the aftermath stuff, you get all the tie-ins, what happens in the other issues, like we mentioned Nightwing and Justice League and JLA. But that's just kind of the gist of it. Here's some Black Manta action. It's almost like the Suicide Squad's got to step in and face this threat from a different multiverse. You got Batman here with the Yellow Lantern ring. Cheetah here. Here was the Bane and Batman stuff. So a little bit of everything, Justice League stuff, Batman stuff. I thought it was a cool omnibus. Put it on the shelf, take it down one day, read the full event in its entirety. Speaking of those variant covers, let's see, what do we have in the back here? It looks like the variant cover gallery, yeah, starts right here. So all of these pages are the bonus materials. You have Ultraman with, I forget her name, the bad Wonder Woman. Here we go. So some variants by Ivan Reyes, who has worked with Iron Studios on designing some statues. I feel like the Forever Evil, I don't remember which one was the lenticular one, because they all had like their own characters. All right, so here's the Dust Jacket image, which is variants for Forever Evil 5 and 6. Get the Robot Chicken variant. Here's some inks and sketches. Cool stuff, man. A lot of bonus material. Here's some sketches of some interiors. It's cool to see the modernized version of this. You know, we've seen like the Doctor Strange stuff and the old school original art. So here's your new school interiors. The director's cut, you get the script, which again, I don't really ever read. Character development sketches, Ultraman, the evil Justice League essentially with the crime syndicate. But that is Forever Evil, more original art, and that's it. All right, guys, next up, we got the Green Arrow Archer's Quest Omnibus Volume 1, and this is the omnibus that I have an extra sealed copy for. So this is the book that I'm going to pin up for giveaway over on Encore right after this video comes out. So make sure to enter that if you want a chance to win. And let's take a look at the Green Arrow Omnibus now. All right, so the Green Arrow Archer's Quest Omnibus Volume 1, Kevin Smith, who made some of my favorite movies, Mallrats, Clerks 1 and 2, Dogma. I think there was an absolute of this back in the day, if I recall. But there goes the cover. Here we have the spine and the back. Dead for years, the Emerald Archer has returned. So it collects 1 through 39, Green Arrow Secret Files and Origins 1, Green Lantern 162 through 164. We got a foreword by Phil Hester and an introduction by Kevin Smith with a new afterword by Judd Winnick. This one retailed $125. And again, big thanks to Organic Price Books for donating a sealed copy for a giveaway. That's who I get most of these books from. So if you guys are looking to pick up any new Omnis, whether it's something that's in stock or you want to pre-order, check out organicpricebooks.com. They have great prices, excellent packaging, fast shipping, and you can save an additional $2 every time by using code GemMint at checkout. Now, if you're overseas and it's too expensive to go through organicpricebooks.com, check out comicsbugle.com. They're based out of the EU, so it's no taxes, no import fees, and free shipping if you're within the EU. They have pre-order options to where you're not charged until the book is ready to ship. The prices are also heavily discounted. They have rewards points, recyclable packaging material, and you can save $5 off your first order by using GemMint over there. So organicpricebooks.com if you're in the States, comicsbugle.com if you're in the EU. So this one actually came out last week at the time of recording, and I guess with DC, they don't really do the variant covers at all for the Omni, so this is the only cover available. And just like with Forever Evil, nothing on the inside of the dust jacket, just some art. It's funny with the image on the front here, we had the exclusives to these a couple years ago with the foils and all that, so that's on the front. Here goes the spine of the hardcover, and then you have the whole Green Arrow family there on the back. Opening up, we got the green cover pages, Oliver Queen. You got your credits here, more credits, table of contents. This is from 2001, this run. So here's the forward. Before Green Arrow came along, he was almost done with comics. This is Phil Hester, right? So Phil Hester is the artist, and then you have Kevin Smith here as the writer. Issue 1, Archer's Quest. It opens up and we get a virgin cover for the Quiver hardcover by Matt Wagner. And we're here at the Daily Planet. You got Batman and Superman up on the top of the building. And this is a story of Green Arrow back from the dead. There's questions about how he was able to do that. The story includes him traveling across country. He's trying to reunite with friends and family. It's pretty obvious that everybody has moved on, as life does. And as much as I'm a fan of Kevin Smith, I really haven't gotten into much of his comics. I know he did the Guardian Devil, the Daredevil stuff, and this was a critically acclaimed run as well. It was a bestseller. And I do like Kevin Smith's writing and his dialogue in his movies. So I really need to check it out to see if it translates well to these characters. I remember it being a little wordy. I mean, Kevin Smith is very dialogue heavy. So I think that was what was turning me off when I read what I did read of this and of the Guardian Devil stuff. But people love this run. This is volume 1, so I'm sure they'll continue to finish the run in its entirety. It seems to me like it's a Green Arrow run that helped bring the character back and redefine him, make him a little bit cooler. It kind of reminds me of what Peter David did with Aquaman. Cool to see cameos from other Justice League members and other DC heroes with Green Lantern, as we can see. We opened up to Superman and Batman. It almost has like a Batman animated series art style for some of these. In the back here, we have the new Afterword. That's by Judd Winnick. And then here we have our bonus material. So the profiles, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, all of the different arrows in his quiver. You got Arsenal, Black Canary, Eddie Fires, Green Arrow 2, Stanley and his monster, Mia Dearden. We get a Wizard magazine cover for issue 113. Very cool, by Matt Wagner as well. You know, I love the painters. Here we have some original art and like layout designs. Yeah, Phil Hester, he has that BTAS style throughout this book. Here's some inks and more character designs. Here we have an afterword from Brad Meltzer. And then issue 16 script. More afterwards, Greg Rucka gives one. An introduction from Kevin Smith here. And a biography on the creators. So it was Kevin Smith, Brad Meltzer, Judd Winnick, Phil Hester, Charlie Adlard, Matt Wagner, Andy Parks, Guy Major, and James Sinclair. All right, from DC Vertigo, we have Scalped Volume 2, completing the series. I was a big fan of this when I first read it. This is by Jason Aaron. Let's take a look at it. And you know DC has to do it to you every time. I mean, they go back and forth between Vertigo and Black Label, and they always mess up their collected editions with the logos on the bottom. So you got different DC logos, and then, like I said, you got from Black Label to Vertigo. But either way, Volume 2, Jason Aaron, you got R.M. Guerrera and Julia Brusco, Scalped. Here's the back. So with the 2 omnibus, you get the entire run, issues 1 through 60. This retailed a little bit more. This was $99, whereas Volume 1 was $75. Here we have the dust jacket, so some art on the left, and then a biography on the creative team, which we just mentioned, plus Jacques, artist extraordinaire, on the bottom as well. Then we have some art on the actual hardcover, spine, and on the back. So I read the whole thing with the oversized hardcovers back in the day. The video's still up on the channel. I don't really have the best retention when it comes to this story. Here's our credits. But what I do remember is that this was a crime story. It was not a superhero book whatsoever, but it was written by Jason Aaron. Here goes a little forward by Garth Ennis. And I really got into this. It's based on like an Indian reservation and the crime and the inner workings on what that's like, the casino boss and our main character. Dashiell Badhorse is the main character, and he's an undercover FBI agent. He's trying to find his mother's killer. Dash, as he goes by, is just on a mission to find this dude. He's still at large. It all goes down at the Prairie Rose Indian Reservation, and then you have the chief, Lincoln Red Crow, who's trying to work with Dash to find his mother's killer. Gina Badhorse was her name. So as you can see, it's got like this gritty art style. It's like reading a television show. It's a great drama. It's got crime. It's got a little hint of a supernatural element, if I recall. But it was mostly just like a crime story, kind of like Sopranos, but on an Indian reservation. I really dug it. It was a page turner. I think it started off a little bit slow, but he goes all the action, and this guy's blowing his head off here. Great stuff from Jason Aaron. I would definitely give this a reread one day. Would love to see this as a show. Wasn't this supposed to be adapted into a show? But yeah, man, it's been a while since I read it, so I don't really remember the story as much, but I do remember enjoying it. A little X-rated here, no big deal. What do they give us here at the end of Scalped? So not to give out any spoilers, we got an afterword here by Jason Aaron himself, plus an art gallery. I remember definitely getting hooked into this. It was like 6 oversized hardcovers originally. I ended up getting rid of those, and then thankfully they came out with these 2 Omnis to collect the whole series. Kind of like a watercolor paint style. The making of Scalped. Some scripts here in the back. You got some preliminary scenes, some character designs. That's right, Dash was dude's name. A Jason Starr introduction from 2009. Matt Fraction says a few words, and then ends off with a biography. All right, guys, not to be confused with Secret Wars 2, or even the 2015 Jonathan Hickman run. This is Secret War. Brian Michael Bendis with Gabriel Dell'Otto, covers and interiors. Let's take a look at it. This one being the standard cover, but there is a direct market cover also by Gabriel Dell'Otto. And like I said, Brian Michael Bendis is the writer. A very thin omnibus. This is a quick read. It's a 5-issue series. Then you get Pulse 6 through 9, and then Secret War from the Files of Nick Fury. It is just a $75 omnibus. But the premise is Nick Fury wonders, how is it that these villains all seem to have unlimited funds for tech? So he puts together this team of Daredevil, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Black Widow, and Wolverine to investigate and figure out who's funding the villains in the Marvel Universe. So that's kind of what it says on the interior of the dust jacket. Who's writing the checks? You got to follow the money. A biography on Bendis and Dell'Otto. A beautiful wraparound cover by Dell'Otto, but it's all redded out. Got all the heroes and villains here. Wolverine, Cap, Doc Ock. Opens up to some red cover pages. Nice artwork here. Little table of contents / credits. So you get an anonymous introduction. This was kind of a fun read. And then you jump into Secret War 1. Love the covers, and again, love the interiors. Luke Cage, interior paints by Gabriel Dell'Otto, Nick Fury, up on the helicarrier. Now, the first time I ever heard of Secret War was when they were doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the show, and they introduced this character, Daisy Quake, and me being a key issue collector at the time, I had to figure out who was Daisy Quake. So she first appears in, I think, this issue. Quake appears for the first time in the Secret War series. I'm pretty sure it's in issue 2 right here. And then she was introduced into the show. I started reading this one because, like I said, it's a quick read. Just enjoying the concept. Bendis is a great writer, very fluid. And then, of course, the art is a treat to look at. So issue 3 here with Cap. You don't get stuff like this all the time. Spidey and Daredevil painted in New York City. Come on, man. Great scenes here. And then here goes Secret War 4 with Black Widow. Great artwork here. So who's funding them? That's what you got to read to find out. And then you have the Pulse stuff. Should be coming up soon after this. Oh, here's the wraparound cover. It looks like it was really muted at first. Here's Quake. So yeah, that was like a speculation book for when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out. It's probably a super affordable book now. Here's Pulse 6, so continuing kind of the aftermath of the Secret War with no S at the end. So you get those Pulse issues, not drawn, obviously, or painted by Dell'Otto, but just kind of the aftermath. And then you get that last Secret War database, which, oh, look at this. Is that Jusko art? Yeah, Joe Jusko. That's from the 92 Marvel Masterpieces, so they just straight jacked that image. Yeah, so that's what that last issue is, just the database of all these characters. And then we get some behind-the-scenes stuff. So, oh, here's a colorized version of that same image, which is the wraparound cover. Unused cover for Secret War 1. That's cool. Behind the scenes. Some character sketch designs. Preliminary setups. And some sketch work as well. This image, again, we keep on running into this, don't we? Look at this one, a pinup gallery by Gabriel Dell'Otto. I like the augmented look on that. That's pretty cool. Hulk busting through. Spider-Man and Lizard. Yeah, I'm a sucker for comic book painters, man. That's really what got me into the game with the Marvel Masterpieces by Joe Jusko. That's why if I see a Jusko image anywhere, that's dope. I immediately know where it's from. So awesome images here. Cool time to put this out. The Secret War name is starting to gain traction, but this ain't the Secret War that you remember. All right, guys, the last one up is one that I just got in, and I thought I was tripping. I'm like, Cosmic X-Men, where did I miss a Cosmic X-Men run? Well, turns out I didn't. Let's take a look at it, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. All right, so this one doesn't come out until April 23rd, and I got it in the mail, and I'm like, Cosmic X-Men? When the hell did they make a Cosmic X-Men run? Well, they didn't. This is really like a compilation book of all the X-Men adventures in space. This is the standard cover, which is a wraparound cover, as you can see. There's an old school Dave Cockrum direct market variant as well, but I definitely think this one is dope. This is like the Astonishing X-Men image. So let's see what it collects here. You have Uncanny X-Men, or I guess it's X-Men 105, then 107 through 108, and then 137, so Phoenix and Dark Phoenix stuff. Then it goes into Uncanny X-Men, which is the same run, but it became Uncanny, what was it, during issue 142, Days of Future Past? I think it changed on the trade dress, but they didn't officially change the name until a little bit later, something like that. So anyway, it's got Uncanny X-Men 154 through 158, 161 through 167, 276 through 277, and then 475 through 486. It collects Astonishing X-Men 19 and through 24, which is probably a double dip with the Omnibus, along with Giant Size Astonishing X-Men 1, Mr. and Mrs. X 1 through 5, Marauders 1 through 5, and material from Uncanny X-Men 274 through 275, with a slew of classic creators because you're spanning decades of X-Men lore. So it's got Brubaker, Joss Whedon with Astonishing, Chris Claremont, Kelly Thompson, Steve Orlando, Dave Cockrum art, John Byrne art, Paul Smith, Jim Lee, Billy Tan, a ton of creators for a $125 book. And then just a quick look at the dust jacket all spread out so you can see that double page spread. Then you have the interior of the dust jacket. The Phoenix saga is just the beginning because X-Men will continue to go cosmic until modern day. Here's all those creators. I mentioned most of them. John Cassidy, the late great, Clayton Henry, Paul Smith. There you go. Then the wraparound cover, you have the Shi'ar, the Starjammers, Hope Summers, Billy Tan wraparound, encapsulating the Cosmic X-Men. So who is this book for? I don't know that this book would be for somebody that's collecting the numbered volumes. It could be for someone that's just collecting events maybe, or if you're somebody that has to have everything, of course you're going to pick it up. Here goes all the credits / table of contents. And again, it starts with Bronze Age X-Men with Chris Claremont stuff and Dave Cockrum. Yeah, so some of this, or a lot of this, is going to be a double dip, but you get some stuff that's not collected with those later issues in the 400s and such. I used to have a t-shirt with this image. I mean, I guess it's basically Uncanny 101 image, Phoenix stuff. So Lilandra with Professor X. I mean, this is all old classic material. Then we're obviously classic issue 137. That's the cover for Uncanny X-Men Volume 2's Omnibus. So these classic things, we just saw Gladiator. We're dealing with the giant size X-Men, basically, brown and tan Wolvie. So we've seen all this stuff. Let's keep it moving forward. So, it's essentially a compilation book. Maybe something that you would get for somebody who's an X-Men fan that doesn't necessarily collect Omnis. Look at Storm turning into the Brood. Remember this whole Brood thing? Classic covers. Yeah, or, somebody that just casually reads X-Men and maybe just likes the cosmic stuff. Now we're into more modern times already, so it kind of jumps pretty quickly from the Bronze Age to modern. I can see the appeal, especially the artwork on the dust jacket, the hardcover, just collecting all this material. And maybe somebody can correct me in the comments, but I mean, is there any way that there has been X-Men 475 through 486? I don't think that stuff has been collected in this kind of format before. But anyway, you get the idea. Compilation book, X-Men in space. See, did they give us any bonuses? Not too much, it looks like. Look, even we're in the Krakoa era here, so bonus material is probably going to be from all over the place. So here's some old school Starjammer stuff, which is Corsair, Cyclops' father, Lilandra, David Cockrum, original art, design sketches. Ooh, this is classic, man. David Cockrum, original cover art. X-Men 476 pinup. Talking about modern age here. Here's some astonishing X-Men stuff. That's the Joss Whedon run, which I have read, and I always recommend that run. And that's it. Pretty light on the bonus materials, but check out this Marauders 3 looking like Battle Cat and He-Man. All right, everybody, thanks for checking out the haul. Let me know, do you prefer these big haul videos, or would you have rather had individual videos for each one of these books? Sound off in the comments down below. Don't forget to download Encore. You can use the QR code or the link in the description or in the pinned comment. Enter my giveaway for the Green Arrow by Kevin Smith, the Archer's Quest Omnibus, and stay minty fresh. Peace.